it took some hard work to get here. It wasn't easy getting here. By no means. I've slipped, I've fallen, I've had to get back up. I've wanted to throw in the towel. I've wanted to give up. I've even gone to the point um, of asking God to just give me back my life before all this started. I've asked that a couple times because that's how hard it got sometimes. Because nobody wants to be betrayed. Nobody wants to feel pain. Nobody wants to feel hurt. Nobody wants to feel worthless. Nobody wants to, like, nobody wants to feel in a way that doesn't make them feel good, period. But it was in those places that I learned lessons, that I had takeaways that changed the way I saw things, changed the way I thought about things, changed the way I did things. And it was all by the power of God. By the power of God. He is so amazing. But it took a lot to get to this place. But when I say that it was all worth it, it was all worth it. It was all so worth it. Because it was it got real ugly. It got really ugly sometimes in prayer. It got it got really ugly sometimes in prayer. It almost seemed like a battle sometimes in prayer. It took days sometimes. It took me days sometimes. Sometimes it took me weeks to recover from a blow. And I got to a place where, I came really close to giving up. I've come really close to giving up. But I thank God that I didn't. I thank God for not letting me give up, because when I look back, I know that it was only by the grace of God that I did not give up. Oh, man. But God is so amazing. He's so amazing. So super amazing. So back to when I first started my journey, because in order to get to the place that I am now, I had to go through some things. And some of the things that I went through was very painful. Right after I gave God my yes on that sofa, that was right before my mom died, and before all the other things that began to take place took place. I gave God that yes on that sofa. He said he's going to stretch my faith. And I answered. I said yes with no hesitation. But right after that yes, it got pretty ugly. Things started to fall apart. All hell broke loose in my life. I felt like as if someone had gone into my bedroom, gone into the drawer in my dresser, and just began to throw all of my clothes up in the air out of the drawer, and they were just flying everywhere. That's how my life seemed at the time. Right after I gave God a yes, the first thing that happened was I lost my mom. I lost my mom. I lost my mom. And the way I lost my mom, yeah, it really affected me deeply, because my mom was sick, so we knew that, over time she was going to pass. But when it hit all at once, just like all of a sudden, she just was at her worst. She went from being okay to like being at her worst, to where the doctors telling us to call our family members in, call our siblings in, and tell everybody to come visit her because, she was at the end. She was at the end of life. And so that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, if I could explain it, it was like somebody had me like wrapped. You know how you roll something up? And okay, so if you had a roll of paper towels and you pulled one of the paper towels, but you took the roll and you threw it on the floor, and you just kept pulling and pulling and pulling until the whole roll of paper towels rolled out, and it just kept rolling nonstop. That's how I felt when the doctor said that my mama was at the end of her life and that we needed to call everybody in. It was like my whole life was just flashing before me. I felt weak. I couldn't breathe. I felt like the walls were closing in. I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't breathe. It was like everything around me got hot. And all I could think of was, if my mom dies, then I don't have anything that proves my existence. Like, my mom is my way into life. And so if she's gone, there's nothing left that shows as proof that that was how I came to be. There was nothing left here on earth that connects me to this place, because she was the way that I came in. And so that for me was very traumatic. And so I prayed, I'll never forget, and I asked God to spare her. To spare her. Not to let her die. I prayed for her. And I'll never forget, God didn't say anything. He didn't answer me. But what he did tell me, and when I say he didn't answer me, I take that back, because he did answer me. He just didn't answer me in the way that I wanted him to answer me. And at the time, I didn't understand that he was answering me. But when I looked back on it now, I understand that he did. What he did was he had me to go visit my mom. He had me to pray for her. He had me to hold her hand and pray with her. He had me to tell her to make peace with God, make peace with her life, to, repent for whatever it is she needed to repent for, talk to God, and that God would hear her, and that make things right with God. Because I wanted to see her. Because I wanted to see her in heaven. And so I prayed with her. And at the time, I didn't think about it. But that was his way of answering. Because if he was telling her to make peace, then she was putting her affairs in order. I didn't know that at the time. So when she passed, after him having me to tell her that if she was tired, that she didn't have to hold on for us.